into our show this morning, and we're going to be talking about ways that we can be able to crush our mornings or unlock our mornings to be able to feel a lot more fulfilled before we're leaving the front door and going out to work. And I think this is a really important process because 99.9% of my clients that I've ever worked for or worked with have always stated that this is one of the most important factors for them personally to be able to grow, and they want to feel that control in and amongst this area. So we're going to look at those four key things that we're going to do or that we need to do to make sure that you walk out the front door with fire in the belly, with focus, with clarity and control. And that is an asset for you and your life as you move forwards. Okay, so let's get into it. Welcome to the Rise to Thrive show. I am your host, James Borman. If you are coming through, then please do let me know by either messaging back, leaving a love heart. Let me know what your thoughts are on the process and any experience that you've got that you might be able to share with the community. Okay, so let's get into it. So, why is it that most busy professional men that when they leave the door, they already feel like they've lost a day? You ever get to that point when you walk out the door and you get in your car and you're going towards your train or you're commuting to work and you already feel like you're a few steps behind? You already feel like you're playing catch up, okay? Mentally, emotionally, and physically, right? We just don't feel like we're connected to the day, or we don't feel like we're connected to what's going to be happening later on, or we just don't feel connected to life. And a lot of the time when we wake up with a lot of the insecurities that we carry. It's just the chemicals inside of our head, in our brain, to be honest. But we want to be able to really connect with ourselves, our life, our purpose, our direction, where we're going, what we're doing, and how we're going to get there. And I think for a lot of guys, once they've left the front door, we go into this jungle, and the jungle is dangerous. And when we're out in the jungle, there's lots of things happening, distracting us, making us stressed, knocking us off path. And how can we make sure that we are ready for that, so that before we leave the front door, we feel like we're this elite operator. We feel like we're this top 1%er, where we go out and nothing that comes our way is going to knock us off path. Nothing is going to stop us achieving our goals. Nothing is going to stop us getting to the place that we want to be. Nothing is going to stop us getting to the mission and achieving the mission. Because what we've got to stop is this cycle of leaving the front door and feeling like we're a few steps behind, getting to lunchtime and feeling like we're half a mile behind, getting to the end of the day and all you're wanting to do is just bury your head in bed and go, my God, is this my life? This cycle, right? And if you feel that and you recognize that, and that's sometimes something that you go through, then please do let me know in the comments if you're watching back or you're watching live. Okay. It's certainly something a lot of the guys felt who I interview, like a lot of the clients that I've interviewed over the last 6 months. And it was always that feeling of wanting more control in the morning. I want more clarity. I want to feel more connected. I holistically want to be more connected. I professionally want to be more connected. And I think these are important things that we have to recognize that we want in the morning. So instead of getting up like 20 minutes before you got to leave, dashing around, not having breakfast, not feeling prepared, looking for the car keys, being in a chaos mentality, we want to build up more control, more clarity, more direction, more purpose, more feeling for life, right? That's what we want. So here are the four things that we really need to try and achieve before we leave the door. And this is not just something we've plucked out the air. This is something that we've been practicing over and over and over again with clients, myself, so that you can have all of those wants, have all of those feelings. This is how we do it. So number one is I've put here mental connection to your life's mission. Okay. Now, a lot of people turn around and go, I don't have a life's mission. And that's because the chaos of life has probably caught you up, right? We're on autopilot, just firefighting through life. And one of the reasons that I wrote this book here Remember the Mission. So this is my second best-selling book here, was because I needed to help guys find purpose, create direction, and embrace life. And we had to be able to look ahead in terms of where are we going, what do we want to achieve, how are we going to get there. And we don't ask that question enough. And if we spent a little bit of time in the morning before leaving for the door, and I'm like, when I talk about a little bit of time, I'm talking anywhere between sort of 10 and 20 minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes, kind of figuring out what that plan looks like. What does that blueprint look like? What is it that you want to achieve? How are we going to get there? And that really connects with the uncertainty that we have about our future, because a lot of men struggle when they don't have clarity on where their future's going. I don't know where my career's going. I don't know where my life's going. I don't know where my family's relationships are going. I don't know what I want. I don't know who I am. And that comes into play, all of that identity development. Okay. So the evolving of your identity, of your values, of your principles, of all the things that you want as a man. And because we don't sit down and we don't master what the life mission is, it becomes very diluted. You become very diluted in terms of life, and we lose track of that passion and that drive moving forwards. Okay, so number two is clarity on what your personal and professional goals are immediately. So, what are the things that we need to achieve this week, personally and professionally? And every single morning, you can get that clarity. What are the things you need to think about? What are the things that you need? Again, this is giving you control. This is giving you clarity. This is giving you certainty. And they are feelings that we want to have. So when we leave the front door, we're not guessing. We're not sinking. We're not drowning and in amongst the tidal wave of life and professional pressure, okay, and personal pressure. We're really clear on these are the things that I need to achieve today, and this is how I'm going to achieve them. And that is a nice feeling to have when you leave the door and you go out into the wide world. Okay. So number three, I think this is probably really important. I haven't put these in a priority order, but finding perspective on your emotions. Now, men are super emotional. We're trying to battle against an ego, stubbornness, procrastination, self-doubt. We're overthinking, we're overwhelmed. And these are really key emotions that completely and utterly overwhelm a lot of men. And we carry those emotions out the front door, which is why when you get in the car or you start your process to commuting to work, that's when everything starts to overwhelm you and you start to feel a few steps behind already. And because we've lost those emotions by lunchtime, man, it's 10 times as worse. And by the end of the day, it's even 10 times worse again. And then we're suddenly like, my God, I'm so stressed and so frustrated. I don't know where I'm going in my life. I don't know what I want out of my life. How am I going to move forwards? So if we can find some perspective through gratitude and more, these are the things I've got in my life. This is what I've worked for. This is how hard I've got to get to this point. This is what I've achieved so far in my life. And we look at all of those positive actions that we've taken to get to where we are, right? Perspective for me is always, I'm not in a trench in Ukraine, in a war zone. I'm not getting shot at daily. These are small things that just remind me, actually be grateful about what you got, because you think you've got a problem. You don't really. 99% of men who think they have an issue, they really don't have an issue. Somebody who has an issue is somebody who says you've got 2 months to live. You know what I mean? Or if your wife leaves you, or your house gets repossessed. These are real problems. So don't waste your energy on allowing um, secondary problems to consume you. Okay. And that's where the perspective comes in. Okay. Perspective on your emotions. Number four, build a positive narrative. Okay. Too many people are constantly talking so negatively to themselves. Oh, I'm shit at this, or this is rubbish, or this is not going the way I want it to be, or this is not how it should be. Like, how about, man, look what I've achieved here. What a great weekend with the kids. Man, I'm a really good dad. Like, all of these positive outlets that we need to have in play, right? And it all starts with the little voice that's inside of your brain. And if we're ever going to get it to where we need to be, we need to change the narrative. We need to make sure that what we're saying here, okay, is it on a positive front? Because that's the very start of the day. If you leave the house and you've already been talking shit to yourself, then you're already going to be those few steps behind. Okay, so just very quickly in summary, so mental connection to your mission, clarity on what your personal and professional goals are for the week, for the day, finding perspective on your emotions, okay, and then building a positive narrative. These are four key areas or things that you can do by simply getting up 1 hour earlier, planning what you're going to do in terms of them. Okay, so how are we going to connect to the mission? How are we going to get perspective on our emotions? So for me, I go for a walk. I do like a 45-minute walk, gives me perspective, clears my head, see dawn coming up, hear the birds singing, like that type of stuff just kind of chills you out, takes you out of the moment. Diary checking for clarity on what needs to be done for the day, makes me feel organized, connecting to the bigger mission, making me feel like I know I'm going in the right direction, building a purpose. Okay. And then constantly telling myself everything's going to work out, everything's going to be exactly how it needs to be. And doing that over and over and over again is such a priceless strategy for you to be able to get to where you want to be and how you want to get there, and building purpose, creating direction, and embracing life. Right? Make sense? Cool. All right. So you might have seen already, hopefully you've got here. I will attach it in the description. I'm planning ahead the sessions so you can kind of see what we're going to be talking about. On Friday, we're going to be talking about how you raise your standards. Okay, you can go to the link that's going to be directly after this in the next 5 minutes. Click on the link and you can just get notified when we go live Monday, Fridays, 6 a.m. to 6:15-ish. I think that's it. I hope you have an amazing week. I look forward to seeing you on Friday.